Howdy friends, welcome to the Deep Space Travel Break, a podcast about sci-fi games that just so happens to focus almost exclusively on No Man's Sky. For now. With the big summer update 4.0 just around the corner, I thought, instead of adding more baseless speculation into the world, I'd try something a little different. If you click this video ready for some cold takes, then I'm afraid I have some really bad news for you, because today I'm bringing you my hottest takes. I'm stirring the pot. I'm rocking the boat. I'm running out of metaphors. I'm Kanaju, and this is the Deep Space Travel Break, episode 15, brought to you by my latest Top 10 Cities in Assassin's Creed Odyssey video. Now, I spent over 24 man-hours producing that video, and I'm very proud of it. So, whether you've played Odyssey or not, I think it's the kind of video that explorers of any kind would enjoy. And I'm not just saying that because I spent 8 hours walking around slowly, only to find out that all that footage was unusable and I had to spend another 8 hours redoing all of it for a 20-minute video. I'm actually not even mad. Alright, briefly before we get to the hot stuff, we have a little housekeeping. It's been a huge month for the channel. Not only did I score my first actual video sponsor, Hello Games themselves, but just a few hours ago, my channel passed 9,000 subscribers. Thank you so much everyone for making this channel such a success. I'm just the guy who makes the videos, but y'all are the ones that actually decide how successful they are. So, thanks so much for sharing your time with me and quite literally, making my dreams come true. So, now that you know how important all of you are to my channel's success, I hope you'll think twice about unsubscribing after I burn you with these hot takes. In fact, I want to see your hottest takes in the comments below after the smoke clears, because I'm sure we all have at least one hot enough to cook a can of beans. I'll begin. I think a full universe reset would be great. I love my bases. I've spent countless hours building museums, arcade cabinets, and this rest stop at the bottom of a giant crater. But I'd give them all up in a second for new terrain generation. And I don't even think the current terrain is bad. I just love seeing new stuff. I understand that some people spend hundreds of hours creating something special and that losing that without notice would be devastating. I understand. I'm actually a really sentimental guy myself. I've held on to this fighter since the Pathfinder era. I get it. Some kind of base blueprint system or opt-in requirement would be ideal to ensure people's time investments are being respected. But that being said, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. Also, I think Expedition 7 Leviathan being permadeath, I think that was a good idea. That's right, I said it. I'm glad Hello Games pushed me out of my comfort zone. I know a lot of people hated it, and I know it alienated a lot of casual players, and I know it wasn't great for new players, but gosh darn it, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. And by that I mean that Hello Games should be able to experiment and try things, knowing that they won't be for everyone. I remember a lot of players were upset when VR was added, because they didn't play in VR, thus it didn't benefit them. Same thing when solo players felt cheated by improvements to multiplayer. I'll be honest, I couldn't have cared less about the Companions update when it first released, it just didn't interest me at all. That being said, I wasn't upset at Hello Games for quote-unquote wasting an update on something I didn't care about. I was actually really happy for all those folks who I know had been asking for Companions since launch. So, while permadeath is definitely a turn-off for many players, I'm glad they went for it. And according to this poll, apparently so are most of y'all. Oof, things are really heating up in here. So, let's cool down for a minute with, gotcha. Let's keep it hot. I say we need more empty planets. That's right. I think there's too much content in this game. And I'm not even kidding, I'm not being sarcastic. I can't walk 5 steps on a planet without tripping over something interactive. I understand that a lot of very vocal people complained about empty planets at launch, but I think Hello Games have overcompensated over the years. Now, every planet is stuffed to the brim with things to do. I understand they have to account for players landing anywhere on a planet, but when every planet in the game is covered in plants, animals, resources, they all start to feel a little insignificant. Maybe even a little samey. Less can be more sometimes, especially when used to contrast against those planets that are full of content. Give me a Tatooine covered in vast deserts of nothing but sand, or give me frozen wastes like on Hoth. Give me an omelet. Number 4. Wait, this isn't a list video. More combat would be great. Now, I know this isn't the hottest take. Tons of players crave action in No Man's Sky, but there's a fairly significant portion of the community who would disagree. I personally think the solution is to give us more optional combat encounters, much like derelict freighters, so that chill players can avoid it completely if they prefer. In other words, only serve omelets to those who order them. Sorry, man, I'm getting hungry. That reminds me, No Man's Sky doesn't need full cities. It doesn't. I would love to see full cities added to the game. It would be like my cyberpunk fantasy come to life. But the game doesn't need them. In fact, I'll go a step further. I don't think the game really needs that many new features at all. At least not completely new ones. By that I mean, I already love the game, and I would love for existing features to be polished and expanded. The Sentinel update gave us better combat, and that was one of my favorite updates of the last few years. So yeah, give me better gameplay, more building parts, new biomes to explore, new creatures to encounter, new ships to purchase, new freighters to command, make archaeology better, expand variation. New features are great and all, but there is already plenty to do in the game. This game has more gameplay loops than most games do. If they just continue to make what's already there the best it could be, I'd be pretty happy, and I imagine a lot of current players would too. And sure, I understand that won't generate as many headlines and, might hurt new player growth, but moment-to-moment gameplay would certainly benefit. Speaking of variation though, I actually think it's the best it's ever been. Again, maybe not the hottest take, seeing as the game's as popular as it's ever been, but I've seen plenty of players suggest that variation has decreased since launch. Now, I respect that some people prefer the launch version, Foundation, or even Pathfinder to Origins, but you can't argue that variation has decreased. I've run the numbers, and variation has objectively increased since then. In other words, there are more ingredients to make omelets than ever before. Wait, I already made that joke. I love that expedition rewards are exclusive, but I wouldn't mind expeditions being available year-round. Logistically, that doesn't make sense, I know. Every expedition is essentially its own game mode, and thus matchmaking would be a nightmare. Not to mention, everyone starting on the same planet over time would also become a nightmare. Technical issues aside though, I just think it would be cool if new players could experience some of my favorite No Man's Sky content ever. But I understand you can't have your omelet and eat it too. All this talk about omelets has me thinking I should wrap up this podcast and make some food. So I'm going to speed through a bunch of hot takes with minimal explanation because my tummy's grumbling. So, I don't think No Man's Sky needs full starship customization. I don't. We've made it this far without it, and I understand how it could enhance exploration, and I'm not saying we shouldn't get it. I'm just saying it's not as necessary as people think it is. PvP? I think it sucks. We don't need it. The game's not balanced for it. It's mostly used for griefing new players. And with, save editors and so many ways people can mod stuff, it can be pretty messed up. Now, I understand that there are a few folks out there who have organized gladiatorial battles, and I'm genuinely happy for y'all. But the fact that you can disable it at any time indicates how unnecessary it is. Then again, I guess an easy solve would be just to make it disabled by default, so that you have to opt in to PvP. Suppose that's not really a hot take then. Just disable PvP by default, I suppose. Alright, this is going to be a lightning round of summer update hot takes. First summer update, Atlas Rises. The most significant one. Second one, Next. I actually like the new terrain generation. I know people complained and said it didn't feel like No Man's Sky. I thought it felt more like No Man's Sky than ever before. 2019, the Beyond update, I thought it was terrible. I didn't like it at all. VR was cool, but the game really broke. I didn't enjoy it till Synthesis. The following year, Origins, probably, maybe Origins is the biggest summer update. It didn't change as many systems as Atlas Rises did, but when it comes to variation, I think it made the most significant changes. And then Frontiers, I actually love the settlements that they added. A lot of people were disappointed. I thought they could have been better, but honestly, I love them. I think they're a great addition to the game. Now, speaking of those settlements, my condolences to the Switch version. I recently found out that the Switch port of the game will most likely be missing some features, such as settlements and multiplayer. And here comes the hot take. That actually fills me with hope. Hope that Hello Games can develop features that are exclusive to newer hardware. Let's be honest with ourselves. Hello Games fulfilled their promises in Atlas Rises back in 2017. Next, in 2018, exceeded those promises. And since then, I'd say the PS4 and Xbox One versions of the game have enjoyed more post-launch content than I think anyone would have ever expected. So if Hello Games wanted to focus on newer consoles and PC, I don't think it'd be the end of the world. And yes, I understand I'm speaking as a PS5 owner, but we can't expect them to be held back by old consoles forever, right? I mean, I suppose that leads me to my final hot take. I wouldn't mind development ending in favor of a sequel. I also wouldn't mind if that sequel was only available on next-gen and PC. I said it. I know Hello Games are working on something big that hasn't been announced yet, and if that were some sort of replacement for No Man's Sky, I think that'd be okay. No Man's Sky is great. It's got unlimited potential, but it is sort of limited by its initial framework and a minimum system requirements. If you raise those minimums and build an entirely new framework from the ground up with all the knowledge Hello Games have accrued over the years, I can't even imagine what they could accomplish. But now that I've ruffled some feathers, it's your turn. No, not to unsubscribe and dislike the video. Please, I told you how important it is. But to share your hot takes in the comments below. Or just to roast mine, whichever you prefer. Also, with 4.0 just around the corner, what are you hoping to see? Do you want an overhaul to procedural generation? Improvements to existing features? Do you want more lore and story-based content, or more gameplay-focused additions? Do you think it'll be on the scale of Origins, or something closer to Frontiers? If I'm being serious, I have no idea what this next update could be, so I probably won't be making a separate 4.0 speculation video. So please let me know in the comments below what you think it could be. I'd love to get a feel for what people are interested in and hoping for, and then we can look back on that once 4.0 does release in the near future. And please remember to keep it civil. Even people with bad takes are still people. Speaking for myself here. So please take it easy on us. And don't forget about the sponsored video if you haven't seen it yet. Hello Games really gave me too much creative freedom and I had a lot of fun making it, so I hope you'll enjoy it too. Thanks again for being a part of my 9K subscribers, and if you're new here, I publish No Man's Sky videos every week, usually diving deep into specific topics, but I'm also planning on uploading some additional videos on my other favorite series, such as Assassin's Creed, BioShock, and Ratchet & Clank. So let me know what types of videos from those series you'd like to see as well. And again, thanks for everything. I wouldn't be here without y'all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!